skojowe, aldete på norsk. Så håll ut med mig. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's not joking. So, what a day. Unbelievable. What time is it? Wow. So, before I get started on the character assassination of my very best friend, I just want to say thank you to a few people. I mean, today has just been unbelievable. For people just arriving today, you don't know what the last few days have been like. I've been here since Thursday, and people have been working around the clock, putting together everything you see today. Ellen has project managed the whole thing. I don't know if you've seen some of the tabs, she's got about 45 tabs open. They're all different Google sheets about different stuff in the organisation for today. But there's been a mum, all the bridesmaids, all the friends helping out, everything like that. People had some very, very late nights, even last night. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone for today. It's absolutely brilliant. It's been like absolute clockwork. Maybe not quite the time, but still, absolutely beautiful day. I love this country. I love your country. Honestly, it's the fourth or fifth time I've been here, and every time I come here, I see a completely different part of it. So even though, you know, I do have some regrets that I don't see David as often as I would like to, you know, to come to this beautiful country, it's been absolutely brilliant. We've been to lots of places, Oslo, Hammerfest, Jessheim. Absolutely love it, absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much. So, in preparing for this, I was looking at a few Norwegian traditions. I saw the one about the getting them on the chair, which we've done a few times, so I'm not going to exhaust that. The window's open as well, so I'm quite nervous that one time the wheel just actually falls through it. But I did see a tradition that every time the bride goes to the toilet, every time the groom goes to the toilet, all the women have to go, let me start this again. Every time the bride goes to the toilet, all the men in the room have to go and kiss her. Every time the groom goes to the toilet, all the women, let me just drop that one. Every time the bride goes to the toilet, all the women in the room have to go and kiss the groom. And when the groom goes to the toilet, all the men have to kiss the bride. There we go, I got it the right way around. I know it's Pride weekend, but that's just the problem. So guys, get ready, because I slipped David a laxative a few hours ago. So he's going to go for a very long time. So again, preparing for this, I was kind of thinking, right, it's a Norwegian wedding. It took me 2 years to learn those first few lines that I just did here. So what else do I need to do for a Norwegian wedding? So I had to turn to an old friend for a little bit of help.
Hello Joe, Tor André Flo her. Lite grann med festmentalen. Jeg tenkte bare til å gratulere det flotte, vakre brudeparet Dave og Elin med dagen. Dette her blir en kjempeflotte dag. Skulle gjerne vært på festen. Det blir sikkert en kjempeflotte fest. Gratulerer Dave og Elin. Lykke til her ifra Sogndal.
Tusen tack to Andrew. I was thinking, I said Champa Champa the other day. I thought, does that mean something? And I said, he's like, Champa Champa, what's that?
I just thought you were sneezing, to be honest.
I don't make a noise when I sneeze.
True.
Anyway, so here I am. Best man speech to my friend, David. The Viking. To everyone in this room, he is David. To everyone in this country, he is David. But you may have heard me call him Hedge today, and everyone back home in Leeds calls him Hedge, everyone in England calls him Hedge. Some people have known him for a very, very long time and they don't even know what his first name is. So, you're probably thinking, why Hedge? Where's that kind of come from? So, I'm going to take you through who I know as Hedge. I don't really know David for the last few years. I know Hedge. I know Hedge. It's really calling you David. I feel like I have to. I don't think you guys know Hedge like I know Hedge. So we're saying earlier, let's have some stories, let's get to know some people. I want you to know the Hedge that I know. You know David, you don't know Hedge. So that is the subject of today's TED Talk. So what is hedge? Why hedge? What the hell is hedge? Well, I thought it had something to do with this guy. This guy,
Dave Hedgehog.
his name is Dave Hedgehog, and he's a character from a really crap 90s sitcom called Bottom.
They all be crap.
Oh no, wait, not that Bottom. No. That Bottom. Yeah. Well, I thought it was something to do with Bottom, Dave Hedgehog, but it's actually not. But you were Hedge when I met you, so I didn't even kind of come up with that nickname or anything to do with it. So for an explanation of what or who Hedge is, let me take you, give the floor to someone who was there from the very beginning.
So, Hedgie, David Hedgehog Laurence. So we were 11 when we first met in Mr. Clark's DT class, and I remember looking at your hair, thinking that you looked like a hedgehog. Because we were cool, we had to shorten it somehow, and Hedgie it was. And Hedgie stuck. I don't think the hairstyle lasted longer than a few years, but the name lives on forever. In fact, I struggle to accept that that wasn't what your parents put on your birth certificate.
That was our mutual friend and local legend, Adam Teenan. Thank you very much, Teenan.
Always delivered.
You always delivered, literally, yeah. In joke. So you were Hedge when I met you, and we were about 17 when I met you, and so sounds like this is your life, doesn't it? Kind of is, but a bit more brutal. But we, at that age when you meet somebody, your tastes have already formed quite a bit, and you kind of know what you like. And if you find someone who's got those similar kind of likes, then you're like a moth to a flame to them. We met at our local pub when we were about 17, and it was all about the quiz nights. No spiky hedgehog hair there. Don't worry, it gets worse. But it was all about the quiz nights, and we were trying to impress each other with who could put the most funniest answer down if we didn't know what the answer was. And we kind of bonded through humour, and then it all became about Leeds Festival. We absolutely adored Leeds Festival. It's a local music festival. He wasn't working there, that's where he got that from. But it was our annual pilgrimage of freedom, doing whatever we wanted, semi-decent music, all your favourite vices. But we kind of built up to that, and then our friendship blossomed even more when we found out we both absolutely were obsessed with radio. So this is 20 years we've kind of known each other, 20 years of kind of practically growing up together, sharing jokes, drinks, nights out, living together for many years, tears, laughs, adulthood, parenthood, silly stuff, stupid stuff. So if you really want to get to know Hedge, I'm probably the best person in this room to tell you who Hedge actually is. So I've broken him down into a bit of a pie chart of personality. Number one, he's 17% hilarious. Honestly, he's the funniest guy I know. 17? Yeah. It gets worse. 17% hilarious. Honestly, he's the funniest guy I know. We are never short of laughter. Like, we could be together and it's only a few minutes away from him absolutely cracking me up. Our entire friendship has been based on humour. I could go on and on and on and on about all the things that made me laugh, but when we get together and make each other laugh, it's at the expense of everyone else who's around us, as Ellen, I'm sure, can attest to. Every time we kind of get together, we kind of laugh and she goes, "What's that about? What are you talking about?" And then we have to explain it, and it's not funny, and it's just going drawn out and stuff. So I could fill this whole half an hour, 45 minute speech just to talk about all the funny stuff that's in, but you probably won't even find it funny. But I'll give you one little nugget. This is Sami Khedira. He's a World Cup winner, but only David could describe him as a Lebanese housewife.
Careful laughter there. No one
Yeah, I know. Lebanese? Can we laugh at them? I don't know, can we? Hilarious. What else is he? He's fun. He might not look it, but he is a lot of fun. So when we met with the pub quizzes and things like that, Dave, Hedge rather,
Whoa.
Love that hedge. He didn't want the fun to stop. So we'd have kick-out time about 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that. And he was like, no, let's keep the fun going, come back to my house. I say his house, it was Duncan and Suzanne. So we'd go back there, sit in the back garden, play poker till about 3, 4, 5 o'clock. 6 or 7 of us there. It would have been like an even 8 if Duncan would have taken up our invitation to join us, because he used to come down quite a lot to say, shut up and go home. Sorry, Duncan. Quite tame so far, Dave, don't you think? So he's fun. What else is he? Creative. By the way, did anyone else know that Hedge used to have really long hair? Did he ever tell you that we used to be in a band? Oh, yeah.
Say a t-shirt on it too.
I'm going to say it's probably the same session, but it's probably not. Canute should probably join us.
Yes.
So we were in a band that never performed live. We could. Oh, no, come on. I mean, we were getting together. We were creative. It was this kind of fluid jazz thing, and we just thought that the scrutiny of public performance would just take the edge off it. Plus, we lacked the discipline. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Were we any good? Were we any good? How would we know without any performances publicly? Davis.
Is this where we do the public scrutiny bit?
He's also a very talented actor. We were talking about film earlier. I had a student film, and he's such a talented actor. I had to cast him in my film. He played the role of a recovering drug addict. And he was such a talented actor, so dedicated to the craft, that he prepared for the role as a drug addict for 2 years before he'd even known he was going to be cast in it. That's thinking. So he's hilarious, he's funny, he's creative. What else is he? Oh, he's brave. He's really brave. Well, of course he's brave because, to leave Leeds, England, come here, leave all your friends and family behind, everything you've ever known, and come over here and, not just come over here, but build a successful life, build a family over here. That is really, really brave, and it's really admirable. You know what else is brave? So when we lived together, Hedge went out one night he was at Bradford University, and I heard him come in about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I heard the downstairs door go, kind of shuffling, some kind of commotion, and I heard his upstairs door go, bedroom door go, and that was it. I thought, I'm probably not going to see him for the rest of the day now. But a few hours later, he actually got up before me, I heard his bedroom door go, clamber downstairs door goes, out he goes. I thought, he's probably gone to the shop to get some Coke or something like that, or I don't know, God knows what else. A few hours later, he comes back in, downstairs door goes, upstairs, his bedroom door goes. I was like, well, wherever he's been, that's it now, he's in for the day. Half an hour later, bedroom door, stairs, downstairs door. What the hell is he doing? This is the worst hangover day ever. It was only until a few hours later that I realised what the hell was going on. So he's out in Bradford University, he's got absolutely paralytic, which is blind drunk. His friend had to put him in a taxi from Bradford back home. Now, it's not a cheap taxi home from Bradford to Leeds. So he managed to get in, somehow fumble his key in the door, get back into bed. A few hours later, the phone rings. It's Duncan. He'd forgotten that he had a family meal planned. So he's a few hours, if he even went to sleep, have to go out with his parents, have a lunch. Don't know how he managed it. But he got dropped back off, got back into bed and thought, right, sweet relief, thank you. Then his phone rings again. It's a tattoo parlour. He's forgotten he's got an appointment to get his tattoo. Just hours later. So he's then sat there for 3 hours in the chair after minimal sleep, a terrible night, a belly full of food he didn't even want. That's brave. That's really brave. Do you know what else is brave? Wearing whatever you want. Not giving a crap what the people think. Hold your laughter, he's not bothered. He's not bothered, he'll wear what he wants. He doesn't, he's not bothered, it's brave. Absolutely brave. Okay. Beautiful man, completely brave, not bothered whatsoever. If he wants to take his top off and dance, he will do. He's brave, don't worry. You've got to do that later, by the way, right? Now you're probably thinking that this is all a little bit weird. Because it is a little bit weird. 9%. Just a bit weird. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. It's weird. You can't really take a good photo. It's a bit weird. Hope you got some better photos today. Do you know what else is weird? Let me paint a picture for you. So, you're an older woman, you've lived on this street for a long time, you love the street you live on, and all of a sudden some absolute renegades move in next door. That was us. They play loud music, they're a disgrace to the street. You hate them, but you've got a beautiful garden, it's your pride and joy. Screw the kids next door, you've got a beautiful garden, everything it means to you. We had a bit of a house party, so she heard the noise, but she must have gone downstairs Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, opens the curtains, it's a lovely summer morning, a bit like this morning. What did she see in the garden? A young man wearing nothing but pants and a baseball cap. That was one word probably came into her head. That's weird. So after our house party, it was we had to play a bit of sunrise cricket. So when Hedge batted it next door, he literally just hopped over the fence. It was so hot, he just stripped right down to his pants and hat and a wipe up. And I've got an image in my head of them being a red pants and a red hat as well. If you actually want to, complete the image in your head. Bit weird. So what else is it? We're getting around now, aren't we? Oh, we can be a bit stupid sometimes. Can be. John Steinbeck once wrote in East of Eden that sometimes a man wants to be stupid. If it lets him do a thing his cleverness forbids. Now, Hedge is very clever and intelligent, but that wouldn't be very amusing if I put it in here. However, he sometimes willingly suspends this and displays some stupidly absurd behaviour. So this weekend back home is Glastonbury weekend. Now, I said earlier we kept going to Leeds Fest, but we always wanted to try and upgrade that to go to Glastonbury. And 1 year we actually got tickets. Brilliant. I don't know if you ever tried to get tickets for Glastonbury, but you've got to sit by a laptop, huddle around it, and press refresh for about 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, not in. It's an absolute effing nightmare. But we did it. We finally got through. Yes, we got tickets. So to celebrate, we went downstairs to the pub over the road. So Hedge goes to the cash machine, gets some money out for it all. There's the ATM. He's like, my money's still in there. What do you mean your money's still in there? Well, I'm taking the money out. Well, it's Sunday, so maybe they'll do it tomorrow. He's like, but if I take the money out now, and I've already got my confirmation email, and verbatim he said, I'll beat the system. So he took his money out, all the money out, he's going to beat the system. I was just wanting to go for a drink. I was like, okay, all right, just see what happens. Guess what happened? A few days later, they say, oh, we've been able to collect the payment. He'd already spent the money, so he didn't join us at Glastonbury. You may have seen the kebab video earlier. The guy with the glasses, public saying kebab. You may have seen in the background that there was a pint glass on the toilet. That was a nod to the next story. So one of our house parties, that was my brother-in-law in that picture. He was desperate for the toilet. Probably something you guys have experienced here today, where you're desperate for the toilet, but it's occupado. so you can't do anything about it. But he was desperate. So he weed in his pint glass. His pint glass had a very distinctive logo on the front of it. And anyway, for some reason, I don't know why, there's not going into it, but when the toilet wasn't occupied, he just put the pint glass on top of the toilet. He just left it. I don't know why. It's not the worst thing that's happened in my life. A few hours later, Hedge walks in with the same pint glass drinking from it. So we're like, what are you doing? Where have you got that from? And he's like, oh, I just lost my drink. I saw someone had left a pint on top of the toilet, so I poured that away, poured my drink into it. It's stupid.
Tastes fine. I don't know any problems.
So if you see a pint glass on the toilet tonight, leave it, it's Hedge's drink. He is resilient. What a stupid picture that is. What the hell is that? So we have lived in some of the coldest places on Earth, and these are the flats that we used to live in. So Hedge is so resilient. He's either extremely resilient or just has the world's lowest standards. In our first flat, we had an electricity meter that you had to top up with a swipe card, so it wasn't just like you pay a normal monthly amount, it was like you swipe it, you put some little money on, like an old pay-as-you-go top-up type thing. We weren't really blessed with foresight, so you'd only put on the absolute bare minimum a fiver, so of course it kept running out. So we had to make a few tactical decisions about what we'd spend the electricity on. Heating, or TV for computer games. Guess what one? Also, one of our house parties, the living room door came off. That's a story for another day. But it meant we had to put pin a duvet into where the door was. It wasn't very heat efficient. As I said earlier, sometimes we went to bed, sometimes you could see your breath when you go back to bed. But did he complain? No, because he's resilient. He's also resilient to extreme shock. So again, in our first flat, we lived on the top floor, and our bedroom doors are about 10 yards away from each other. And I was just lying in bed one night, probably on my phone or something like that, and I heard him go downstairs. So I thought, right, creep out my door, go into his bedroom, and I hid in the wardrobe. He came back upstairs. He took him ages. Don't know what you're doing. He came back upstairs, sat down at his desk, and his desk was directly behind the wardrobe. Now, Hedge is resilient, but I can be patient. I resisted the urge to barge out straight away. So I waited 5 minutes before bursting out. You knew what's coming. Bursting out, and your face, it looked like he's going to have a heart attack. But he didn't, because he's resilient. Finally, he's passionate. Really passionate. I know this guy is so passionate. For that, Ellen always had a doubt. Legal binding contract he signed earlier. But he's extremely passionate. I think someone said it earlier about the passion, and I think that's completely evident today, just in just your whole relationship, the way you are as a father. This is the first time I've met Alfie, and you're absolutely fantastic with him. You were a father before I was, and there's two people who've been living as man-child children our whole lives. It was kind of a bit of a shock that you now have to take care of one. But you do an absolutely amazing job because you are passionate, you've got that love, you've got that devotion. I'm so lucky to know you, to know Ellen. You are the most sarcastic person I know, which is why I think you get on so well with Hedge. But there is so much love between you both, so much love evident here today. This is the end of the character assassination, by the way. I mean, I can't really break this guy down into a pie chart. I just can't. I mean, that's him in a nutshell, but I mean...
Can I use that for my next job interview?
Yeah, of course I can. The next one. He's an onion. He is an onion. I mean, what can you... Not because he's layered or all that kind of stuff. He just makes me cry laughing, and he just sounds a bit weird. So, in English weddings, maybe even abroad, things like that, there's a tradition of finishing with a quote or a lyric or something like that. So I'm going to kind of finish with some words from a man called Jarvis Cocker, lead singer of Pulp. Anyone knows Pulp? And these hopefully describe kind of, the best years of my life when we lived together. Come and play the tunes of glory, raise your voice in celebration of the days that we have wasted in the cafe in the station, and learn the meaning of existence in fortnightly instalments. Come and share this golden age with me in my single room apartment. And if all amounts to nothing, it doesn't matter. These are still our glory days. My face is unappealing and my thoughts are unoriginal. I did experiments with substances, but all it did was make me ill. And I used to do the eye chain, but then I had to feed the meter. Now I can't see into the future, but at least I can use the heater. It doesn't get much better than this, because this is how we live our glory days. Ellen, you're probably wondering what you've done now in this presentation. I want to finish with the first Norwegian word I ever learned. Please, ladies and gentlemen, raise your glasses to my best friend, Mr. and Mrs. David Laurence. Skål! It's not finished. It's finished.